Good morning. Welcome to Coffee with Alain. Hope your week is going well. It's Tuesday already. Going to do Coffee with Alain real quick here this morning, talking about a big, bold, beautiful journey movie I went to Sunday night. Then I have to head to the dentist's office, taking the wife in for an oral procedure, oral surgery. So we need to go do that. It's sort of a fallout procedure from some of the chemotherapy and stuff she was doing with the cancer. So that's a never-ending kind of thing. When you get cancer, it does other things, but we're getting through it, right? So I'm going to talk about that movie, and I'm drinking out of a love cup this morning, cup that says love on it, because this was a love story. And to be honest, I didn't dislike the movie, but it didn't live up to what I was hoping. You know, you have two stars. You have Colin Farrell, who I really like, and Margot Robbie. Really like Margot Robbie. I mean, she's a beautiful woman. I don't know if they had the best chemistry for this love story. And it's sort of a love story fantasy. These two are thrown into a predicament put together by a car rental agency, this really wacky car rental agency, and this GPS that guides them through this big, bold, beautiful journey where they discover and they interact with their past and different parts of their past that affected the way they have relationships today. And so they're going back and forth through time, interacting with things that happened and eventually falling in love, right? It's a love story. It just didn't work as well as I think they had hoped. I don't know if they had the best chemistry of the two, especially with Colin. I just didn't feel right, I guess. Now, Margot Robbie, again, beautiful woman. You could watch her do anything, and I mean, she's just stunning on film. And one of the things that really stood out in this movie to me was the use of color. And I just thought that was an interesting kind of thing, the way different things and the color that was used. You know, early in the movie when they introduced Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell being introduced, later in the movie, when I saw the shirt Colin was wearing, I knew what color Margot Robbie was going to show up in. And so there's interesting thing with that, you know, just some of the filmmaking, the colors that were in the doors and the clothing. So just if you pay attention to reds and blues, it is interesting. Yeah, I just say, you know, as a filmmaking and a creative way of doing it. The movie's getting not the greatest reviews, and I understand why, because it didn't click as well as maybe you had hoped. It wasn't as good as I anticipated and hoped for a movie. If I didn't like Margot Robbie so much, I probably would have dropped it down another line or two. But I just thought she was absolutely stunning in this movie and just a beautiful woman. I liked the clothing she wore and the colors they used. So on that creative aspect, artistic aspect, you know, I enjoyed the movie. And I didn't feel bad of going and seeing it. So that's my take on the movie, A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. I definitely think it could have been better, but, you know, I didn't dislike it. You know, I enjoyed watching it, and I enjoyed, you know, some of those little artistic things. Good morning, Thad. Appreciate you being here and saying good morning. Good morning, Dixon. Dixon said, your coffee mug doesn't just say love, but the handle is shaped like a heart. Yes, it is, Dixon. And if we turn it around, we got Mickey making a heart with his hands. So definitely a love, a Valentine's Day type mug, but it was appropriate for the love story, fantasy movie, A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. And I say fantasy because of the magic and the going back in time, you know, and interacting with things that happened in their life earlier that made them do the choices that they chose. So again, it was creative. It was interesting, just not as good as I think it could have been, not as good as I expected it to be. So that's my take on the movie without giving spoilers away too much. I do tell you to pay attention to the colors. That was fascinating for me, just because of the artistic way and how, making of movies and how they do things like that, which sometimes interests me. I did enjoy that better than I enjoyed the action movie that I thought was sort of dumb that I saw Friday. Now, I went to a movie last night not knowing what movie I was going to see. It's this thing they do on Mondays. You go and you're surprised by what the movie was. It was a movie that I had seen the previews for and that I was interested in seeing. So as soon as it opened, I said, oh, I remember the previews. I did want to check this movie out. And I was disappointed with that. And we'll be talking about that in an upcoming Coffee with Alain too. Not tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to be back with some Warrior Wisdom. So you go out and make it a terrific day, and I will see you then.